In the last episode, I gave my new suspension a workout on the 50 plus river crossings of the haunted stream track. Jason and I went on to explore the spooky Mount Delusion Hut and the 100-year-old gold mine ruins at Kincasillas. And coming up, we head down the Limestone Creek track and reach epic summits in the high country, and we come to find camp at the most luxurious free camp I've found to date.
Jason had some engine issues, engine lights, DPF lights, transmission not working, not going into low. We had all sorts of concerns, but once we hit the bitumen, it sorted itself out, and we maintained the plan. Although we were chasing the dark last night, so we head through Omeo. We've gone northeast, pretty much due east of Benambra, and we're at Native Dog Campground. And this morning we're going to tackle Limestone Creek track. We couldn't appreciate this spot when we rolled in last night at about 7:30. It was basically pitch black, but it's spectacular. Very wet, but it hasn't rained much. It's just sort of been drizzling. Really nice spot. Time to make a coffee. I was up at 4:30 yesterday when I did my first little video bit for you at the start, part of the adventure. Pretty knackered by the time I'd done over 12 hours of driving, so let's get into it. More on today.
Jason and I share the same swag, the Oztent RS1. As much as I love not rolling a swag each morning, the condensation in cold weather is a real Achilles heel of the design. A comprehensive review to follow in the future.
That's the bottom, usually in the center.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's the same. At least as bad, yeah.
Not ideal.
No, especially when you got to pack it up, eh?
Morning routine with the Grey Dingo. Had issues in the past with the burning through coolant. Suggests it's got a crack in the head as discussed. So I always check the coolant, check the oil before I get going in the morning. And still full. The overflow looks good too, so good to drive another day on the old girl.
Jason took the lead while I was fiddling with camera stuff in the cab. As we left camp, I realised I still had a tyre valve cap in my pocket from when I was checking pressures. I refitted it, jumped back in, and was then faced with a decision. Left or right? After 12 hours of driving yesterday, my brain was wiped and I couldn't recall the way we turned in. Of course, I chose the wrong way. Our UHF comms faded eventually as we headed in opposite directions. Once realising we lost comms, we both came back to the start point and found each other. Some wasted time, some wasted diesel, but no harm done. Some assumptions were made and learnings were had. I'll probably talk more about this mishap in the future. Limestone Creek track is a rough track with iconic bush scenery and clearings near the river. It's rated very difficult with the black sign, but there's really only a few sections to make it in that category, I think. I think it stops big caravans coming down into the campground, but I do reckon a small camper trailer with some slow and steady caution could get down into the camp area. Good clearance will be the key. It's a bit hard to see because of the moisture on my camera, but Jace nearly puts his car sideways coming out of this bog hole. We stopped briefly to find a vacant lavatory, and I saw this can waiting gracefully by the side of the track for me to collect it. I wonder how long it took for all the coatings to wear off like this. It's by slim chance that I pulled over alongside it. Please people, respect the bush. Often the camera just can't do it justice to show how steep the path in front really is.
We've just pulled up here on Limestone Creek track, and just behind me there's an A line on the right and a B line on the left. We're just doing a bit of a reconnaissance on which one we want to choose. Yeah, I don't think that's worth it for me.
Alright, I'm going to try it.
Alright.
Cool.
Yeah, I reckon do that. Power hard on the right
Send me
here.
the footage from your camera on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Jace has just got back in his car. He's going to give it a crack. This is pretty gnarly. Not my cup of tea, but Jason's more experienced than I am and is after a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think it's just too soft and slippery, mate. Look at that. I did not expect that. And it's not like I was giving it heaps of gas. I think it's just too soft and slippery.
So we've just decided that it's too soft and slippery even for Jason's adventurous adventurous slant, but yeah, we'll go the safe way and make sure we get home all right. Alrighty, sorry it wasn't the 4-wheel drive action video you were expecting, or not expecting. We've just pulled up a moment at the Buckwong Huts camping area, and it's absolutely magical here, but we can't find the actual huts. So the area we just drove through on McCarthy's track and Buckwong track, it's heavily burnt out, but this area here doesn't appear as affected in the bushfires a few years back. But yeah, this is a magical spot. Remind me to come back here and camp. We're making our way down here now, and we're making tracks towards Mt.Gibbo, and yeah, having fun. Grey Dingo's going well. There's been some pretty gnarly steep sections and a bit of fun and a bit of mud as well we just got through. Having the time of my life. Good on you guys.
Hang on a minute, that looks like a hut.
So we did find a hut, but it looks more like a private hut rather than what we were looking for. She's well and truly padlocked up, and there's even some mail there with someone addressed to the ACT. So somewhere along the lines the postman's got lost. But yeah, no, there is a hut here, so we were wrong.
We jumped on the Bush Freeway, Mount Hope Road toward Mount Anderson Road, setting our sight on the summit of Mt.Gibbo. Much like yesterday, the ascent up into the clouds felt almost instantaneous.
G'day guys, we just got to the top of Gibbo, or close to the top. We've hit this section, which is the gnarly section, right near the end. Jace was going to drive it. It started to rain. We've decided we're going to turn around here, do the responsible thing. The B line looks like the A line used to, Jace says, and the A line looks like a bomb's hit it. It's getting slipperier. We don't want to get stuck. We're going to turn around. So it's so cold, I've even put my jacket and my beanie on, which doesn't happen that often. Jace is ready to go, so here goes.
One moment please, while we do a few 11-point turns. With the unforeseen U-turn in the journey, we took Wheelers Creek Log Road toward Mt. Pinnibar. That's the trig point there on the left, near my aerial, the top, the summit, the peak of Mt. Pinnibar.
Hey guys, I didn't want to ruin the moment for you, so here's the big reveal at the top of Mt. Pinnibar for the beautiful view. Here we go. There's the trig point. There's us. Can't see much. Rough drive getting up here, not too technical, but it has some spots, and I'm getting pretty cold right now, but absolutely remote. We haven't seen anyone today at all. Beautiful.
How's the Serenity? starting to get slippery here. We're making the descent down to Wheelers Creek Hut to camp for the night.
Slow and steady, mate, that's the way. I just drove the ruts, mate. I couldn't make it stay out of them. I use that term drove loosely.
If you watch a bit of Jason's channel, you'll know he's had some near misses with nearly falling over trying to get the perfect shot on film. And it was an honour and a privilege to be here for the very first time he actually fell over.
Are you alright? All good?
What a day. We've made it to camp. We've seen mud. We haven't seen snow. We've seen lots of rain, lots of mud, and lots of water and lots of slippery stuff. We've made it to Wheelers Creek Hut. Behind me there is some really pretty grassy campsites. There's a drop toilet here, beautiful spot. Bit average today though. This is the actual hut, and unlike the other huts, because it burned down, they've rebuilt it and it's open for travellers to use. So we've decided we're going to sleep in the hut tonight. This weather's really set in and we're probably just setting ourselves up for a miserable time if we try to best it. So I'm going to cook up a beef stew on the fire pit, a recipe I'm still trying to tweak, and we'll be able to have a fire inside the hut as well. So going to have a great time tonight, kick back, relax and enjoy ourselves.
This must be the most luxurious hut in the high country. Thank you to everyone who helped. The cabin construction is a work of art.
She's plenty wet.
Well, one of the step-ups of becoming a better off-road driver is feeling like you're in control when you're out of control. Like when you're sliding sideways, you need to know, yep, I'm sliding sideways and I know what to do when that happens.
Yes, I'm doing this on purpose. I knew this would happen.
And that's where I think a lot of people get scared and make stupid mistakes because they're just...
Oh, look, that's right. I think, coming down that slippery, rutted section, some people, as soon as the car started to slip, they'd panic. They'd either jam the brakes on or press the accelerator trying to get traction back, and
yeah,
they would have ended up over the edge.
Soaked it in. It's like enzymes of pineapple, kiwi fruit, and papaya.
Cool.
Which are natural meat tenderizers.
Yep.
So it means that rather than waiting like 4 hours for it to get really soft in the camp oven, if you want, you can cut into it a bit earlier.
Yep.
And the meat will still be kind of tender. Had a problem when I last tried doing this. I didn't dry it off enough, and then I tried to sear it before I cooked it. But then all the moisture from the bath kind of ruined the sear. It just sort of bubbled and boiled it.
Yep.
So what I'm doing now is my darndest to dry it off.
After I sat in the Grenadier and I didn't like the seat in the Grenadier and I didn't like the driving position, and then I bought the 76, like everybody whinges about the seats in the 70 series and says, oh look, one of the first things you're going to have to do is replace the seats.
Yeah.
And I get in, I sit in the seat and I go, I like it, I'm happy with it, I don't want to change it. But,
Well, I was a bit surprised initially because I know the interior of the 76 is actually fairly small or compact. That was my understanding.
yeah, it's definitely closer than the Pajero. Like, there's not as much room in it as the Page, that's for sure. It's a much more upright driving position. So it's probably between the Grenadier and the Pajero in terms of how much legroom you've got. So I have enough legroom when I'm driving the 76, like if I'm driving, I can have my foot on the accelerator and I can move this foot behind the other leg and I can move it back here, which I couldn't do in the Grenadier.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like the steering wheel's kind of like right there. There's not heaps of room, but there's enough. Dinner from Chef Dan, worth the wait. How good does that look? We're going to tuck in. I'll tell you about it later.
So guys, I'm here with Jason. I'm not going to lie to you. There is a giant rat in my food bag right now. It's got a tail. It's not posing as a pygmy possum. It's definitely a rat. It's definitely gone in the fright, not the flight mode. What do we do?
He's a bit shy with all this light, isn't he? I don't know if that's a rat. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's a rat. I just can't believe it's up here on the veranda with us.
Or he's just rocking back and forth in denial.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's eating or what he's doing.
He's going to have to work hard to get into the tuna tin.
He is. See, I don't know if he's a rat. I reckon he's some kind of nocturnal marsupial.
Also known as a rat. But yeah, we've cooked a wonderful meal. We've just eaten it. And, you know, out there with Dan, Camp Kitchen. Next minute, rat in the bag.
Rat was not one of the ingredients in the stew, we promise.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's waiting. He's underneath. He's just... When's the next bunch of YouTubers coming through cooking a meal on charcoal for us? Out there with Dan, moment of truth.
Something you never thought you'd be doing. This is why you should bring welding gloves with you to rehome rats.
Come here, buddy.
There he is.
Not too close, otherwise it won't focus. That's as rat as a rat can be.
Yeah, I'm buying the rat scenario. What's he chewing?
My gloves.
Fair dinkum. Yeah, so he is. Oh bugger. I reckon he'll be off like a rocket as soon as you put him down. Or not.
That's a brave rat.
There he goes. That's unreal.
Hey guys, Dan here. Welcome to our campsite. We've got one Oztent RS1 here, my Oztent RS1 here, trying to dry out the mattresses from last night. And then here, we've got our own stocked wood fire heater indoor. How good's that? I mean, when it's raining outside, when it's bucketing down, when there's no hope of staying dry, how good's this? This is probably what they felt like back in the day when they were working these lands and travelling between places. Wheelers Creek Hut. I feel blessed that the volunteers have made this place what it is. Absolutely wonderful, much appreciated, and we're gonna have a wonderful night sleep.
It really was the calm before the storm, because tomorrow, the next episode, turns out very different.